Warning. The following content may contain opinions or ideas that some people may find offensive. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to a special first episode of the Yuck Yuck podcast. We're your hosts, Nathan.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we got some yucky topics for you boys and gals today.
We decided we're just going to make fun of social justice warriors, autists, and all their ilk.
Yeah. Anyone that has the slightest different worldview of me is now actually the devil. It's been scientifically proven. I have facts. Back that up.
Yes, every one of our Catholic scientists has put in the divine work and to decide that we are not only right, but you are wrong.
Not only are we so correct that you should be ashamed of yourself, but they also proved you wrong.
We're going to talk about... Yes, go ahead.
What's your most recent social justice warrior interaction? Give us a good story.
I've done it through osmosis, because we have a common friend in Domino, as you know, and he's been attracting all this lately. First, it was my own personal unicorn that I want to meet one day. This person who looks like Nemesis and has some disability that always orders a lunch combo.
Yep.
Then it was the person. Then it was the person that recalled those pizzas because they weren't cooked in a certain way because she had 7 autistic children.
Yeah.
And my problem is, if you have one child that's autistic, it happens. 2, we're gonna have to.
184.
We're gonna have to get a hysterectomy going here. Make an appointment at least. But to make
get a
7
consultation.
Yeah, but to make 7, I mean, is the government check that good or something? Because I don't know what's going on there.
That kind of stuff blows my mind all the time. Oh, I used to go to church. Background. I used to be Mormon. I was raised in a Mormon household, right? And I'm not gonna name drop or anything, but there was a family in our community that all of their children, there was 4 of them, I believe. And in Mormon land, in Sunday church, if you're below, I think, the age of 12, you go to primary after the main service is done. And I remember sitting next to the offspring of this family when I was a wee lad. And he was just being weird or whatever. We were singing the church, the brainwashing hymns, and all of a sudden, one of the girls in front of me turns around, and she just screams. Just the highest pitch horror film. Yeah. As you can imagine. And I turned to see what she's looking at. He just got his dick out.
Oh.
He just has his dick out and he's playing with it.
Oh, oof.
And you could hear a fucking... You could hear a pin hit the floor. It got so quiet all of a sudden, and then all the adults started rushing over it. I just got swept back through all the nonsense, and I'm just scarred from this 12-year-old kid's penis.
Oh, no. Oof.
It was
all the oof.
It was honestly one of the biggest oofs of my existence.
Moving on, we'll get back to that in a second. Probably, we'll probably need to do a psychological profile on it. But the third one I was going to mention what happened even today when he got an order for 16 pizzas, like a specialty pizza, and then they said, "No, they weren't hot and ready right away. I don't want it. I want a refund." I mean, seriously? You asked for... Yeah, serious? Yeah, you're serious.jpg. I mean, that either had to be on purpose or just there's some mental capacity not working there.
Yeah, it's... Little Caesars especially. I'm not going to... I'll try not to dox him, but Little Caesars especially has a special way of attracting just creatures that crawl out of crevices and out from under rocks to come get this cheap hot food, you know. And they people expect so much for $5. It's insane.
I know.
That $5 hot and ready, and it's
Oh yeah, I forgot you worked there for a while too. So
I did. I experienced the issues of the people that would come there firsthand, and it was just not okay.
Just their lack of self-awareness.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, this one guy came in and got $40 worth of pizza. Right? This is recently. This was like a couple months ago. I came in just to say hi to Dom and get a hot and ready pizza.
Yeah.
And this guy ordered like 45 pizzas, you know, so I'm chatting with Dom for a second, and I just get a hot and ready pepperoni, and he hands it to me. The guy freaking jumps up out of his seat, runs over, puts an arm like in front of me, and is like, "Whoa, I ordered before him. I should get my pizzas before him." And I was like, "Well, sure, man. What did you order?" You know, he's like, "Well, I ordered a supreme pizza, a special deep dish with pineapple and pineapple on it, so it'll make my dick taste good, and this and this and this." I'm like, "Oh, man, you got like $50 worth of pizza. I just got it hot and ready. It's ready right there. So why should they have to wait?" And the guy was just stumped, and I was like,
"Yeah, wait. You got the alone." You got the classic Jason quote. So.
The customer is always correct.
The customer is always correct. No, you're not.
I think everyone in the world is finally starting to come to the census that whoever invented that probably deserves to have the first guy that invents time traveling needs to go back and shut that guy up before he spreads that around.
So maybe it was a joke and people took it seriously.
That could be also true, and if that's the case, then I'm the SJW. But
doesn't matter. It's a proper trigger there.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say on what you're saying about the clientele that Little Caesars attracts. Just like Walmart, low prices attracts many people.
Oh yeah, because the vastly wealthy people and stuff, they go get like good specialty pizza from a nice restaurant like Tomatoes, or we have a local place called Maxie's, and it's got good quality food, but it's way more expensive and you gotta wait for an hour and a half to get it too.
Yeah.
And so that's where all the wealthy people go, because they can afford it, so they don't care.
I would say more middle class to wealthy people. They have their own crap in Canyon Crest.
Yeah,
we're starting to make that divide now.
We have a city we live in is slowly being divided into classes. Yeah.
You got your poor people, you got your sex offender area, you got your Iranian colonies, you got your Bosnian colonies.
Yeah, yeah. It's very segregated, but
you get your Michigan pockets.
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't get me started. So I'm gonna say a couple things about Zlotko on this show, and I hope that it'll poke at him enough that he will come on the show to try to defend himself. But
impossible, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, because I want to make a drinking game where I start making fun of the girl he's attracted to, who will leave nameless. The one I call Porky Pig. And it's going to become a drinking game. Every time he complains about me calling her ugly or whatever, then I'm going to do 2 shots. I'm going to do a double shot every time he gets upset. Because Zlotko thinks it's perfectly okay to make fun of ugly women, which you should be able to. It's just words.
Yeah.
Everyone forgot about the whole sticks and stones may break my bone, but words don't fucking hurt people. You just get over it, or you don't talk to that person.
Yeah.
So Zlotko thinks it's okay to make fun of ugly women, but if it's one he likes or is friends with, then it's whoa, man, that's unnecessary. I think you really gotta rethink what you're saying there. And no, I don't actually. I really don't.
It's only a problem if you're like out in public and then you just start going up to someone. That's just douchey.
Yeah,
that's unwanted. But if you're just doing it in general, it's the internet. Everyone makes fun of everybody.
Yeah, what you say in the privacy of your friend's home, that's But
they don't call me the keyboard warrior for nothing.
If you don't like what shit posters post, don't go to that. Don't follow that subreddit. Don't block them. There's options. You don't have to have Twitter taking you off.
Or you can get good.
Yeah, you can get good. Speaking of Twitter, we both have Twitters, so let's see if we can help spread the word somehow. We'll put links in the description to the Yuck Yuck Twitter page and mine and Jonathan's Twitter accounts in the description.
The Twatter.
Yeah,
because I updated my Twitter picture from my glamour photo from 20 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that. It's awesome. I'll make sure to put that on screen in the video. It's beautiful.
When I had a full head of hair.
Yeah.
And now I'm bald and I can't get laid anymore. Okay.
Yeah, your hairline reaches the back of your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really does. Now I'm depressed.
Sorry, Jonathan. It's okay. What were we coming back to? Oh, yeah, we're coming back to Nemesis T-Type.
Oh, yeah, your childhood trauma about some autist, some acoustic child whipping out his Wang Chung in front of everyone, and some girl, they're like,
yeah, it was, oh man, it scarred me a little bit. It was traumatic, but the thing is, too, is like, the dad had some form of disability. I think it was autism, and the mom did, and then these people got together and reproduced.
When their powers merge together, it's like a My Hero Academia thing where two heroes marry into one another, so their child has a combined power.
Yes,
like Endeavor and his mom and his wife have
the fire
Shoto.
Nice.
Yeah, Fire Nice Kid. Yeah, Shoto.
Yeah.
So he just has all of their disabilities.
It's a little bit. I'm gonna say their children are like on a bell curve, you know. So at the beginning, it's like mild. Like the oldest kid, who's my older brother's age, he's perfectly functioning, very smart, intelligible person, right? And I think he's going to like MIT now or something. Like kid's a young genius. I don't think he's disabled enough to be the next Stephen Hawking, but you know. But as we get further down the generation or the children, you know, the bell curve starts to go up. So we have the middle child, the one that was my age, completely. I don't want to say worthless, but that's the word that comes to mind because all he does is just last I heard he just plays on an iPad. You know, that's all he does. He just has an iPad with him constantly because that's like his autistic obsession. You know.
His acoustic obsession.
Yeah. I remember, too, because we went to Boy Scout camp one year when I was, like, 13. And everyone was a pussy about how cold the lake was. And, you know, with me and my gigantic wiener, I was like, you know what? Because they had, like, little patches. The farther you swim, you go up to a mile. So I swam a mile in this freezing, gross lake because everyone else was a wussy about it. But you have to, when you first get to camp, you have to do, like, a swim test to make sure you're allowed to swim. And everyone passed up fine except for him. He almost went into shock when he jumped in the water. So everyone else was almost done, and you have to swim all the way out, like halfway into the lake and swim back. And he was trying to, like, get help. And the lifeguards at the lake weren't doing anything. And the kid looked like he was going into shock, so I was like, screw it, I guess. So I jumped back in, and I help him finish his... half like carrying him out to the middle of the lake and back, just so he could still be allowed to swim while he was there. It was. I felt I was too good of a person back then. It was.
Nothing wrong with it. Because a kid would have drowned and you would have done that family a favor, but you know, that's nice.
Do that family a favor.
You just would have had another one. I wouldn't have worried about it.
No, they did. They had another one, and I think the kid was pretty normal, but I don't remember him being older than like 7. So it was a long time ago. Jeez. So I don't know what that kid's doing.
He's a normal kid in that family. That's a curse.
Bad, not good.
All of them, they look at him. Not one of us.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'll have to have Ilian run some tests on me to see how much that messed me up. But
so we got wieners and screaming girls so far. This is off to a running start.
Oh yeah, no, this is just going to be the whole podcast. We'll have people even like send in their stories about how an autist in their life or an acoustic person in their life has affected them. This is definitely getting demonetized. Like,
I know. It's all right. YouTube let pedophile shows go on for a while. I think we can get away with it.
Yeah, the Elsa Gate. Yeah, that was a whole nother. You know about that wormhole, right? Yeah, that's insane to me.
I never saw any of the videos, but I heard a lot about it, so I'm not interested in any of that.
I saw a few of the videos just to see what all the fuss was about, But was
it as advertised?
People went in deep on the research there.
Well, YouTube's. I don't know what's happening to YouTube. They want to be like MySpace. Nobody cares about them.
Yeah. Well,
they don't have any competition, so they think they can get away with this.
That's the thing too. Is Facebook video? Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I've seen a couple, or seen a little bit into it, I should say.
Yeah, I think Facebook's going to try to make a really big push now that they know that YouTube's getting flexed on by the advertisement haters.
Just doing it to themselves.
Yeah,
that's the worst part.
Yeah, and every time they come out with something new, it just gets so much backlash, and they don't do anything about it. But Google likes the monopoly.
Yeah, it's just, what's it called? They're that idiot who tries something. Oh, people like this, even though it's like the opposite of what people want.
Yeah,
and then they think like, what's wrong? We're doing it how we think we like to. What? They go about it like how we think what we want, even though we don't want that. They're just gonna. Someone needs to come in. I know. There's been plenty of ones that try to come in and they don't really work out.
Yeah, it's a whole shit show.
It's like the whole free speech thing when it comes to Twitter and Facebook.
Oh man,
you've got these restricted sites like Twitter and Facebook now that are cracking down, and then you have the opposite end of the spectrum. No acoustic pun intended, but you got the absolutists, like anything goes, and it's typically just swamped with neo-Nazi crap. And it's like, Jesus Christ, these acoustic people on both ends, just love to ruin anything good.
Yeah, it's become too much. I think everyone's getting zucked and Twitter's twatting everyone, and you can't make one joke like our friend Jason, he recently got, it wasn't recently, it was like a month ago, but anyways, he got banned from Facebook for 24 hours because he posted an offensive meme on an offensive meme page. Literally, I know, that's so stupid. Yeah, it was when Stephen Hawking passed away, God rest his soul. It had a Stephen Hawking in a wheelchair. And he was next to a bunch of stairs that lead up to a glowing light in the sky, which would be assumed to be heaven. The stairway to heaven. And he's in a wheelchair, and he goes, fuck. Or sorry. Oh, shit.
It was just a dumb meme. Like, it was whatever. Just one of the things you skip over.
Yeah.
I almost got sent into Facebook jail. I just got a detention session instead of jail, because I was looking on my messenger on my phone. I was like, it needs me to log in. I'm like, okay, whatever. And it wasn't letting me. What the hell's going on? So I got onto my computer. I went into it and said, we need to talk to you about an offensive meme.
Oh, you guys sucked.
And I went, yeah. It was basically the meme of Jesus fucking Christ. It's just like two dudes fucking each other. It's just with Jesus heads up over them.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was this? When did I post this? I haven't seen this in like years. And I found it like some old like exclusive page that someone, I guess, reported on me after they found it years later. I'm like, really? And then I didn't go to Facebook jail, but I just got slapped on the wrist or a detention session over it. And I was like,
they made you take down the post, right?
I imagine that they took it down or something like that. I don't know what it. They didn't have me take it down, but I imagine it was taken down or something.
Oh, see, that's the difference. If you get sent to twatter jail, then when you get out, they show you the post. Yeah. They don't tell you why you got banned before the banning. It's after. So when you finally get to come back to your account, a little window pops up and says, "Hey, welcome back from prison. Here's your stuff, but before we give it back to you, you see this tweet right here. We need you to physically agree to delete this. If you don't, then you're not getting out of jail." Yeah, and it can be like the littlest things too. If someone doesn't like it, someone doesn't like you, you can get zucked, you can get twatted, you get bird shit on your car, however you want to say. We gotta have Kenneth come on. We gotta have a Kenneth bit where he tells us about. We know the meme machine that created the Mark, give me the Zuck meme. For people at home, we have a friend named Kenneth, and he's great because Mark Alien Borg likes to do his Facebook live streams a lot along the lines of when he first started doing them. He's reading the chat and he sees Kenneth and it says, "Mark, give me the Zuck," and he reads it out loud and he goes, "Well, Kenneth, I don't know what the Zuck is, but if I find it, I'll sure give it to you." It's I'll post the clip.
Kenneth, Mark, give me the Zuck. But you can follow up and tell me what that means, and I'll try my best to do it for you.
Lip reading of when whichever government agency summoned him to talk about how Facebook might have affected. Russians use Facebook to affect the election, getting Donald Trump elected or whatever.
Spoiler alert, they didn't.
Yeah. And so when everyone's trying to Zuck the Zuckerberg, Bad Lip Reading makes a video about it. And that video of him trying to make him look even more robotic was more human than he actually was in that interview.
I'm about to say, jeez. I just remember that he had a little booster seat and all that.
Oh, yeah, the booster seat. Oh, my God, he's such an adorable little robot, man.
I'm like slightly taller than he is. I didn't know he was 5'7".
Oh, yeah, he's not. Oh, man, it's weird. You never want to meet your heroes because you're always taller than them if you're a dude. I don't know what it is. Successful people are small, I guess. I don't know.
I'm short enough, I can be successful. I'm gonna get a few inches shaved off.
Speaking of bits as well, I'd like to have our first fan ever from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Troll video, I guess. Reginald. Yeah, the Cyber Angel 12. I want him to call in and talk to the show. I hope he listens to it and comments down below. I want to get him in on this. It'll be great.
Good. You can always have good friends.
Yeah, the
show.
The first fan of the show. He's always going to have that title to me. I think it's awesome. It's fun, dude. Every time I'm on YGO Pro playing, and he's online, he looks for my name. If he sees it in the duel rooms that are already started, then he comes in. And he's like, "Hey, old duelist, can I get the next game?" And I was like, "Definitely." And I played played the whole duelist thing along with him. It's always a blast.
Well, now that we're off of trauma and all that stuff, but I guess, like I was saying, with that whole congressional meeting that they had with Zuck, that was just another little kabuki theater. That's all that is.
Yeah, bunch of old people. I think the Bad Lip Reading really described well about their knowledge of what was actually going on. It was they don't understand like how the internet works, and they get to decide the legislation for it. And I'm just like, nope. You shouldn't be in charge of this.
Yeah, our country's kind of fucked that way. Just because, we have people who don't understand the internet legislating it. We got people on science committees that don't know anything about science. Heck, our EPA is run by a guy that doesn't believe in the environment, so good luck. Well, that's why crippling depression is so popular nowadays, kids.
It's kind of weird to think about because a lot of old people always like to say that, "Oh, you don't have depression, you just don't have much to do." Random bullshit. Because they don't believe that like the newer diseases like bipolar depression or anxiety, all these new mental disorders. It's because the world's gotten a lot more fucking complicated, old man.
Well, it's not like obviously it existed back then, but they were just told to ignore it because they just saw it as a sign of weakness and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That's
but
definitely not the case.
It was a simpler time. Talk about like with my grandparents and even my dad, they don't understand just like new concepts. Old people, the older we get, the more set in our ways we become. And I hope I don't become a stubborn old man. That's a fear of mine, but
I want to.
You do?
Yeah, because there's a saying that says any technology made after you're 35 is unnatural and against the laws of nature. So no, it's just an old stupid saying, but it's pretty funny to me.
It was just like, one day we're just going to have stuff projected into our brains so where it appears in our vision and stuff. And we're not, that's going to be like our grandkids,
Yeah.
And so we're
What's
not going
this
to be
gonna
able
be
to
like?
comprehend that. And there's just like, oh, Grandpa, there's no screen. It just appears in your vision. He's like, what do you mean there's no screen? It's just,
What do you mean?
what do you mean
I want to listen.
there's
I
no
want to listen
screen?
with my headphones. I had noise-canceling headphones and a microphone so I can record a podcast. Now you can just take it and it works.
Yeah, you can just take it and it goes right on the internet.
It was just simply with the fact because now the world's more connected. You can contact anyone in the world easily, but everyone has their freaking stuff to make like that. Heck, all the wars we fight, those people are the forefront of any mental illnesses, especially ones that are more common today, like PTSD. Just because you're in war, you're always getting shot at.
It becomes a more harsher difference too. Like someone during World War I, after they got done in the war, they probably couldn't just go back home and retire. They still had to do some kind of manual labor, get up early in the morning, run a farm or something. That's probably an overgeneralization, but it's just like coming from, the sandbox of the Middle East, after an Iraq tour and coming back to the highly technological, advanced society, there's social media and all this stuff. It's just like, it's a complete different mind switch. And a lot of people, or a lot of our soldiers and stuff, they have a hard time switching back.
Yeah. I was playing this video game not so long ago, the LA Noir, and you always heard about a lot of guys, always like, a lot of domestic cases because you got these guys fighting a war where they can kill anybody at any time. Then they come back and expect to take lip from their wife or their family or from people, and you expect them not to do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There's obviously a problem there. You don't condone it, obviously.
Oh,
but
yeah, no,
but
it's
there's a
not.
problem there. You just can't tell them to put it away in their head, and they were told that. And since they were told that, that's why they tell us. That's why I think it's more of a transition thing, more than anything else. Because more and more nowadays, we're starting to, get the stigma away that mental health is not a weakness or anything like that. It's just the grind of life that gets to you. It just happens. Each person's different, obviously, but there's always going to be someone that's going to be have a different grind from you.
Yeah, when my brother, after he was done with Marine boot camp, he came back and visited at home for a little bit, and I was probably I was 16 or something. I was still pretty young. He wanted to teach me some hand-to-hand combat stuff, and I'm a fucking out of shape sack of shit, and I always have been. And so I don't want to exercise at all. So he'd motivate me by buying me Yu-Gi-Oh cards and stuff. He was teaching me some stuff when we were sparring. The sparring is a overstatement because I never could even touch my brother. But when he was first teaching me stuff out of instinct one time, I went to go reach out towards him and he just grabbed he put his hand on the top of my head and forced it down to the ground and just smashed my head into the carpet. And it really knocked me a doozy, but it was just he couldn't, he even told me afterward, he's I didn't mean to use that much force, it just happened.
It does.
Taught me a lesson is I would never survive in a military situation. I hope I never have to get drafted.
No, if they reinstitute the draft, I think people will be protesting more than anything else because we know why we fight wars nowadays. That's not a secret. It wasn't a secret back then, but it's just in your face obvious of why we do it. We don't really do it for any noble reason. We just do it because our companies here need to make money.
We're fighting a financial war against other countries right now.
Yeah, we don't fight wars. We invade places. Really, we don't. The people we invade, they're no real threat to us. And then since you got all the money being spent on war instead of here at home. You got that weighing down people's minds if they can't get a job after they go to college, because you know as well as we're raised here, especially by older generations like Gen Xers and baby boomers, where they say go to school, go to college, and then
they just cram that
shit
shit down your throat.
Yeah, and your life will build up that way, and then
that's
unfortunately that's out of date software. That basically you're trying to run software from the 70s to. You're trying to run software from 2018 on a 1970s computer. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, that's a lot of it. A lot of people just well, that's all the running joke with Brandon and Dom, because they have art degrees now, and it's like that thing's pretty much as useful as wiping your butt with it. It's pretty much just toilet paper. And it's kind of funny now because art degrees are becoming more wanted, and other mathematicians and biologists or whatever, all the fancy high, the only place where they get hired is either at big companies that's really hard to get into and require previous experience, or the college they went to as a professor, if that's available.
Yeah.
And you just live off grant money, for doing research at like MIT or something. It's a crock of shit.
Yeah, if you live in this country, grants aren't that well. That's why a lot of scientists end up going to like Europe. Yeah. Because the grant money's way better over there.
We don't have a NASA program anymore. That always blows my mind.
And then
space is dead.
I know. It sucks. That's one of our best programs because we have a lot of stuff like computers, the memory mattress foam tank. Just a lot of stuff is attributed just because we did space exploration and research. And I was going to say with the college, and that's why I never I may go back to college here in a few years. I don't know if I want to still, but that's why I had never completed it because. I got like a 2-year degree, but I was going to go on for more of a degree there, but I just didn't find anything, or there wasn't anything that was worth getting into in the time, because it's so much money, and a lot of the cases when you start off with so little that you just don't want to do it because you don't want to be
and that's the thing too is banks and people that give out college loans and stuff, they sell you on the thing. It's just like, oh yeah, especially like the master's and doctor's degrees, they let you live off that loan for so long, no interest until you're out. Said, oh yeah, it'll be great, you're going to go to school for 10 years or whatever, and you live off this loan until then, and when you get out, there's no way people won't hire you with that degree. You go work for a Fortune 500 company or start your own Fortune 500 company and easily be able to pay it back without a lot of interest. And that's just not the case, period.
It's sad, too, because you got a lot of people who are getting into their senior citizen years that are still
that's the thing that's deterred me the most. Is like, unless I can get some kind of grant or something that's going to pay for all my school, it's almost not worth it. I'd rather spend the time that I would spend in college trying to be a content creator on the internet. And it's funny, too, because there's a lot of content creators, like Ethan from H3HC Productions, Dick from the Dick Show. They all have, like, engineering degrees from MIT. They don't use them, period. Yeah.
And they just end up on the internet. Oh, that's just a common thread because there's all the jobs like that in engineering and the STEM fields end up getting tossed up for like a quarter of what they'd want to pay an American to some dude in India or China. This country likes to talk about all the jobs that Mexicans like to take. Have you tried looking at all the jobs that Indians and Chinese people like to take? Because they can pay
outsourcing is so much cheaper. It's a little bit more complicated, but once you get the hang of it, there's a lot of money to be saved there.
Yeah. Screw Mexicans because they want to pick your fruit. You're not going to do that. The people you should be angered at, or not angered, it's just more of our system should be angered at is I forget what's the name of the program, the visa program that allows these people to come to this country, basically get top tier education, and then they go back to their countries and do the work there, and a lot of times do our work for us for a fraction of the cost. But they get all the they're just outsourcing those jobs to those people, and in a lot of cases, if it wasn't for that visa program that they have for those people, our infrastructure.
It's not the illegal immigration that's fucking us; it's the legal immigration.
And it's the ones that you can do IT work for me. Okay, come here now. I'll pay you crap, but according to based on where you live, it'll be fine. And then for us, we hardly get any. Yeah,
the more I think about it, so that's why we're stuck really make a living
service jobs most of the time.
Being an original content creator of some kind, whether you're inventing some kind of social media platform, or you create entertainment, or there's not very many other careers outside of that, minus like the ones that are always going to be needed, like doctors. And even then, they're lowering and lowering and lowering the bar every day for what it takes to become like a nurse and stuff. Like you can go to CSI for, a month and get a nursing degree. They just fucking throw you in there.
Did you hear what they did? Like,
really?
The CSI nursing program, they got in big trouble recently. I don't know if you heard about it, because there was one of my friends, his wife was in that program, and they basically intentionally failed the majority of the class because of the reasoning of, well, it's good that you fail so you know how to try again. It's just some bullcrap where they intentionally failed a lot of these people, even though a lot of them could have been qualified. And I was like thinking, first of all, you're making us pay all this money to go to college
just so
I can repeat it and pay you more money. You're
not helping.
On that basis alone, that's a scam. And if you're so concerned with learning life lessons based on failure, it's already called you're living your life. You're always going to fail in some capacity. I don't need some jackass to come along and do it intentionally. If I screw up and not pass that nursing program, that's on me. But if you're going to do it intentionally and charge me more,
it doesn't help by any means, because more and more every day people are saying, hey, you know what, college is kind of a scam, and a degree doesn't really mean much if I'm not going to work in that field. And a lot of people, and it sucks too, I feel so bad because, like, people get college loans and then they go to school and they're like, I don't even know what I want to do with my life yet. And so they end up going back, getting more money on their loan so they can retake the right classes after they pick some other field they want to go into. Maybe they get halfway through that, because my older brother did this, get halfway through that field and decide, never mind. And that's also another thing deterring me for college.
Yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, because with what I was doing, I have no intention in being like an IT again, because I just didn't like it at all. Like, it was something I was very interested in when I was in high school, because I was in the tech class there, so I always went out to the middle school, all the middle school and elementary schools, doing all that stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is I still do. I'm working on developing the first Yuck Yuck production video game called Play With My Balls. Hopefully I'll have some kind of update video on that soon, but no promises. But I still like doing that stuff because I thought it was a blast. I did it all the way through high school. We had a whole club after school and everything, and me and my girlfriend at the time, we like rocked that whole program. It was a blast.
I could have gone to college for it, but I'm glad I didn't. Like, programming, it's just something that you can learn how to do on the internet. You don't even have to degree with a lot of this stuff nowadays. And a lot of the times, you can just lie in your resume, too, say you went to college for this, even if you have the skills and all that. It doesn't really matter. It's not like they check most of the time, unless it's like some super reputable company that knows, like,
that's the thing too, even in such a case, because I had a beautiful opportunity to go to the Googleplex in California when I was 16 or something like that, as part of that tech program, because our teacher was part of the Google developer groups of Southern Idaho. And so I kind of kick myself in the ass for this all the time, but I still talk to the guys that I met at the Googleplex, from all over the world every now and again. And it's just like I kick myself in the ass because, they all offered me jobs right out of college. And so I could have, done the grind, gone to college, and probably gotten a job with one of them somewhere. Maybe not at Google, but with one of the affiliate companies.
It's a subsidiary or something like that. Work yourself, because no one expects
unless
to
you
get the job
know someone on the inside. It's not what you know to you. And so
the
resume, and so I could have just told them. I could have just waited 3 years and just been learning on my own and just told them, and they would have believed me and just got me working there as soon as possible. As long as you can. Yeah, most of those places, they even game development companies. You basically just take an exam, and if you pass the exam and it shows you know how to do everything, then you go in for like 2 weeks and work with one of the other engineers or programmers or artists, if, depending on what part of the video game industry you're going into, you work with one of them, the other full-time employees for like 2 weeks, and then they get you off working on your own projects just to get you caught up to speed for whatever the current project is. Let's see. What else?
So in other words, don't go to school, kids.
The ugly Yu-Gi-Oh players. So recently, Nationals season. Yeah, more autists, essentially.
For the fun section.
So recently in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, there has been a spike in diversity of the formats. Where at least before Sky Strikers came out, with that diversity came into diversity of how people look. And it started, I'm like 99% sure it started off with YCS Salt Lake. Because that guy, we went to YCS Salt Lake, and I watched the guy's deck profile. He's got like a 5 head, but it's really small. Because his whole head is really small, but his face is even smaller and just crunched up in his chin like those Snapchat filters. It started out with Igor, and it evolved into... God, I don't even know how to describe it. The one that topped recently in Central America. Yeah, some recent evolution of humans.
Some recent life form.
He's got a 6 head, and his hairline starts at the middle of his head, and he's just got this long, wavy, greasy hair. And it's just there's a lot of ugly Yu-Gi-Oh players that have recently topped, and it's just I hate it.
And then we got our hero here. His name is Steven. I forgot his last name. I don't know if you saw that deck profile that Dom posted.
The 60-card pendulum magician guy, yeah.
He was like, I got a deck. All these magicians are Garnets, but I don't play any Garnets in the deck. I'm like, this guy's just this creature. I don't know if it's an act or if he's just that he just lacks self-awareness. But he's great. Yeah, he's going to be an act. Yeah. I hope he goes to Nationals because obviously he has an invite if he's at top 32.
Was that a YCS? Oh, I thought that was Nats. I guess or Nats for us. I don't remember when Nats is.
It's like at the end of June, beginning of July. Yeah. Because I hope he gets to Worlds and just looks at the Japanese players. And I don't know where Worlds is this year. Is it in? Where is it?
I don't think it's been announced yet.
Okay. Wherever. If it's in Japan again, that'd be awesome. He just goes there if he gets top 4 or top 6 or whatever it is, and he just goes up to the Japanese player. What's up, guys? Godzilla's here. He's just be doing such stupid things. It's great. It is one
that guy's and it doesn't help the case because here's the thing: is I hate telling people I play Yu-Gi-Oh because immediately everyone gets the picture in their head that you are a basement dwelling, Reddit shit posting, worthless motherfucker,
incel,
good for nothing incel. Exactly.
Shaky.
I try so hard to pry that image out of people's brains. Say we're just normal people, and this is just a game we like to play. Just like how regular people play video games. It's just this. This is just more expensive. That's all.
But I look like how I look like, so that's not helping the cause.
Well, you're still a normal human being. You still have a personality, and you interact normally. And
sometimes,
most of the time, anyway. I've been ranting too much.
I know. I'm talking about Yuck Yucks, autists, people who whip out their wangs and scar little Nathan and little Mormon girls. I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. Oh, and we got this guy who says that he is I Am Legend. Shout out.
Is that what that guy did?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the video. He was like, I told, they said they couldn't be done. I am Legend. Shut up, Will Smith. Then he just starts doing his deck profile, contradicting himself all the time. And then me and Alien actually read one of his feature matches. He was playing this dude playing Trickstars. He beats him game 1, and then they decided to put this in that article, which is great, where they're side decking, and the guy just goes up to this Trickstar player. I don't need a side. My deck is too good. I don't need a side against Trickstars. He just starts being a baboon about it. Okay, here it is. Both duelists moved to their side decks. Trifanowski, the guy that we're talking about, declined to use his side decks to change any of the cards in his main deck, stating that Trickstars weren't good enough for him to need to use his side deck. He wanted the world to know. Nevertheless, he was in fact using his side deck to switch up his extra deck a bit. It's funny. He said he didn't need a side deck, still uses it to change his extra deck.
And he was playing the 60-card Pendulum Edition deck that just like stacks a bunch of cards and then draws them with Saryuja or something. I don't even know how that deck works.
It's funny because he wins. He's so arrogant. You like want to beat him, but he wins, and he's like, oh, I can't hate this guy. He's such an ape. He even calls himself a monkey.
Yeah, he
in the
calls
video.
himself a monkey. Oh
like,
man,
I don't play tornado. I don't know. This is why I'm such a monkey. I was like, oh no, this guy's great. Me and Alien want to meet him. He's our
oh,
master.
man, I just hope I hope we get a good growing fan base, and I want to interact with people. I want to talk to them. I want to get them in Discord and chat with them. It'll be fun. Have lots of little bits and stuff. But we need an intro. That's going to be the main thing, I think, project, because we got the artwork now and it's beautiful. Shout outs to Starscream or whatever for making the artwork. He's a great artist, and he captured our monstrous cartoonish forms perfectly. Do you have anything you want to give the Yuck Yuck seal of approval to today, Jonathan?
Oh, the seal.
Something that did real good in the world.
Oof. Not a lot of good. The NBA Finals sucked. Anthony Bourdain KYS'd. I don't know. Everything in my life is a black hole.
Nothing you feel like deserves the seal of approval recently?
Let's see. There's got to be something. I guess there's something. There's a light in my life. James Marsters. You don't know who that is. That's a guy who used to play one of the vampires in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's doing the voice of Zamasu in Dragon Ball Super. In the Japanese version, he was pretty cool. I liked him, but in the English version, he's like been one of the best parts of that saga. So he gets my Yuck Yuck seal of approval, because now I like to call everyone a filthy mortal. I didn't think they were going to be able to meme that, because there's a meme within Dragon Ball Super called Ningen or something like that, or you filthy Ningen, which basically means mortal or human. But now there's this great clip of him saying, "You will never best me, you filthy mortal," and I kind of want to make that into a meme, into like whenever you break against like a sleeveless Yu-Gi-Oh player and they're beating you, and you just think to yourself, "You will never best me, you filthy mortal," because you don't want to lose to a sleeveless that doesn't have a mat, doesn't clean their fingernails, or basically is a typical yellow.
Oh yeah, a prime example of a beautiful specimen, if you will. Our scientists, deep in a bunker somewhere under a facility in a farm out in Kansas, where they experiment on the yellowmouth creatures known as yellowmouth Yuck Yucks. They're a special breed. It's a special strain. And it affects certain people differently. But the yellowmouth Yuck Yucks, when they get hit with it, it gives them superpowers almost. They could just, oh man.
Their ability to believe the flat Earth theory is parallel to none.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh man, that was so much fun talking about conspiracies today. Earlier today, we went and got pizza.
Yeah.
Jonathan just brought up the discussion of what's a
conspiracy theory that you
what's
believe.
A conspiracy that you believe?
There was another one.
Believe.
There was another one that I forgot about, because back then we were having a talk about evolution, and Larry didn't believe it because he doesn't know how to think for more than 2 seconds. And
he's a creationist.
Yeah, I don't care for that. What's it called? Basically, the one that I entertained, not because so much that I believed it, I just wanted to believe because it sounds so much fun. That's why I entertain those type of things. It's the ancient aliens thing. I mean, with all that stuff, because it's one of those things, like, if you don't really think about the topic they're talking about, like the pyramids, these structures in Peru, and all over the ancient world, based all the ancient creations of back then, like how they did it so far, and all that.
Natural wonders.
Yeah, it must have been aliens, and it's one of those things where they talk about it. They sound like they have authority, but then we think it's they really don't have really any confirmation on this. It's more like a God of the Gaps type of theory, where I don't know how to explain it. So God did it, or aliens did it. That was one of those that was entertaining to me, because it's one of those fun things.
And it's funny too, because every time, because like there's not much exploration that goes on inside the pyramids, you know? And so they're just recently finding that there's like more secret chambers and stuff in there. Right. And every time something like this comes out, Jesus, fuck me Christ, I'm yawning a lot. They go nuts. The conspiracy theorists go nuts. It's like, oh, it was one of the places where they opened the warp gates for the alien overlords to come and visit to make sure they were, you know, doing the alien overlords' work. And
yeah, because Thanos needed those pyramids done ASAP.
Yeah, it was Thanos and his giant, hard purple cock.
Yeah, purple butt chin and butt cock and cock.
I feel so bad for Stan Lee. You saw that, right, Jonathan? You're on Twitter. Are you following Stan Lee on Twitter, Jonathan?
No, what happened?
Okay, all right. So he recently joined Twitter in the old naive man that he is. God bless him.
Papa bless.
You know, and he kind of creates his own like little memes and stuff, and he's talking about like he does cute things. Like he tweeted at the guy who plays Spider-Man recently, like in Infinity War and stuff in Homecoming.
Yeah.
He tweeted, "You are exactly what I imagined will be perfect to play Spider-Man. You're not too big, you're not too small. Good, how you doing, buddy?" It was just like a very friendly thing, and I always think it's Tom Holland, right? And he tweeted back at him, you know. And so, you know, one day he posted on Twitter that he was going on vacation. Like, it was like last week or something. He's going on a short vacation, and he wouldn't be able to be on Twitter. And in the comments, or in the tweets back at him on that post, just this image of Thanos nude, with some scene from Guardians of the Galaxy in the background, with just a massive purple, I mean, bigger than his fucking hand, and he's got a big hand for that big gauntlet. I'm talking a 2-foot, you know, something that would put a very well-endowed black man to shame. Just a gigantic purple heart-on. And it's just people just spamming this back at him, and I'm like, oh, I feel so bad.
What do you mean?
And he just ignored it. He just ignored it. And it was just like, I'm so glad he wasn't a diva.
I was going to say, what do you mean he bigger than a black man? He is black.
He's purple.
Man, he purple. Yeah, I heard a purple drag. I understood that reference. No, I just followed Stanley now because it looks like he's a meme lord.
But he's unknowingly a meme lord.
I know.
He just doesn't know it yet.
Like glorious old man. How old is he? Like 90-something?
Yeah, he's in his 90s. He's ancient. Yeah. And he still ends everything with Excelsior.
Of course, I know.
It's been his trademark since the fucking 60s or 70s.
Right. Back when he was still old.
Good stuff.
Back when he was still old.
Ever since I can remember, I've always been old.
To say, yeah.
Excelsior.
Even 40 years ago, he was old.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, when do you want to die, Jonathan? About what age? What do you think?
As soon as possible.
You want to live to be that old and crotchety?
Only if I can be an eternal meme, yeah. But that's not going to happen with me. I want to be outdated by next week.
Yeah, you're ready to go next week.
Yeah.
Just
sooner.
Like, that's it.
Sooner
the better.
Sooner the better, man. If I get in a car accident, I'm going to survive because it's my kind of luck.
You know, I was thinking about this because I used to work in the call center for an insurance company. Will remain nameless because of HIPAA. I don't want to violate anything. But
is it E3?
The most specific thing it was at C3 Connections.
But, I was trying to be vague.
At E3. I think I'm allowed to say where I worked. I don't know, but I can't give out much more information than that. But I think that the company's actually gone under now. But
really?
They did Medicare, which is for people that are 65 and older insurance, and they try so hard to understand all the loopholes and what they can do and what they can't do with their insurance, and I feel so bad for them because they just can't get it. And it's going to be even more complicated and suck even more once I'm that age. So I want to be dead before I'm 65. I think that's the number I set. I want to do everything I want to do with my life before I'm 65. I'll peace out.
As soon as we're done, or as soon as we're dead, everything becomes instantly better. It's like, of course, that's what happens. It's like when you miss a day in school. Like, every day it's boring, but the day you miss a day in school, everything cool happens. Pizza party, Beyonce shows up, there's a fight between the autist and the special needs kid. I mean...
Oh, yeah. There's a Vine that I really like. It's just, I think it's Meech on Mars. He's like, oh, man, what did I miss at school? And he's like, man, teacher had 3 kids. It's like, what? Yeah. What? I was gone for a day. She's like, well, she been fucking. She been fucking, I guess.
I kind of felt that way some days. Like, oh, dude, you should have been here yesterday. Why? Oh, they didn't let us do anything today. Like, God damn. Then the day you come in, you have 2 days missing of work. You didn't do anything yesterday. Doesn't matter.
So? Do you have any people you want to bring on the show, Jonathan, in the future?
Sure, but I have to know them first.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I have a friend from high school who's a really funny guy that I recently ran into at a gas station. So I'm going to see if I get him to come to my house, sit down, and record a podcast with us soon.
He's a good guy. Then I'll let you two talk, and I'll just stand in the background, not say anything because I don't know how to handle it.
It'll be fine, Jonathan. He has a bad, sick sense of humor, just like the rest of us. So.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't say that Hitler didn't do anything wrong, I think we'll be fine.
What are you talking about?
He didn't do anything wrong?
Jonathan, the Holocaust didn't happen.
Wait, the Holocaust was a lie? Yeah,
no, the Holocaust was real. That's not a conspiracy. Stop.
Of course.
The world needs to stop.
That's right. Cut it off there, get some lunch, and call it a day.
I think it's a good place to leave off. So we need to start a Patreon once we actually start getting some views.
For $15, you can watch my gut get bigger as I sit here on my couch in front of my computer that's in front of a 40-inch TV that's connected to a 40-inch TV that I use for a computer monitor.
Yeah, eventually we'll get a Patreon set up. Thank you, listeners. There's probably like a total of 10 of you for listening to the Yuck Yuck podcast. See you later.
See you. Bye.